Mark Stedman, Vice President of Information Technology at Wycliffe Associates. And today, joining me in the studio are Travis Wright, AI Task Force Coordinator, and Joe Sarabia, Field Software Engineering Lead. Is that correct?
Yep.
Wow, I got it all out. Really good. Well, it's great to be here today, and we are really excited about the tool that we're going to show you. Travis, do you want to talk a little bit about today's tool?
Yeah, it's called Handwritten Text Recognition. This is an emerging technology that's incorporating recent developments in artificial intelligence to try to digitize text that comes from handwritten pages, which is something we do quite a lot of at Wycliffe Associates.
So
Right.
you don't have to train it based on a specific person's handwriting. The training is already actually built into the AI models, and so we're just taking advantage of that. So it can actually recognize anyone's handwriting. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the other thing that we are accomplishing with this tool is we are capturing images of the handwritten Bible translations. So one of the problems that we've encountered in the field is occasionally you'll have like a natural disaster and you'll lose quite a bit of translation. I just learned last week from one of our partners in Fiji that they had a cyclone after a project had been started, and it destroyed the village, literally destroyed and wiped away the homes that people were living in, and of course all the Bible translation work was lost, and we don't want that to happen.
Right.
So the reason Joe is here today is that Joe is the primary engineer on this tool. Now this tool is still a prototype. We're moving into testing now with it, but we're really excited about it. So Joe, do you want to show us a little bit and tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. Here we have our HTR, or transcription application. It gives us the ability to select what language we're working with. So today we're going to be showing off, I believe it's pronounced Dali?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have here selected 1 Corinthians chapter 1, and we will go ahead and upload some content here.
So while Joe's doing that, what has happened is he's already captured the images one way or another, either with a scanner or as a first pick would be scanner, as a second choice would be maybe the phone camera that you have handy. But those images are already captured and on his laptop. Now he's submitting them to the system.
Yep. So this is uploading this to some cloud storage so that we keep a record of the images, so
Right.
that in the event that any sort of natural disaster or any issues with the computers on the field, that we'll have a copy of that they can back up and resume their work, so that we won't have those kinds of tragic incidents, hopefully, anymore.
Right.
And so as we see, we got a response back from the model with our transcription. And as these pages will have a lot of verses on them, we kind of want to save as much data about each page as we can. So we can go through and look at the range of verses that are in this page. So this particular page starts with verse 1, and it goes to verse 11. So let's go ahead and set verse 1 to 11. And then similarly for this page, it's verses 12 through 22.
Yeah, and what this is doing is it's adding this data about the range to the image that we've stored on the server. And the reason, of course, is because once this has been uploaded by the translation team or the technician, if somebody needs to access it later, we may not actually know what language it is if it's not written on the page, or if they only wrote it on the first page. So this way, that extra metadata is stored into the database, and anybody can come along later and work with it if they need to.
Right. So some other things that we have the ability to do here is we can actually change the prompt or the instructions that go to the AI model. And one of the things that we found a lot of success with so far is being able to ask the model to actually give those verse markers when it sees them in the page, to give that in the format of the translation software that we use. So that translators can just copy and paste directly. It saves them the time of having to make those changes. So let me go ahead and show. I'll just add here, I would like the response to format any verses in USFM. So USFM is the format of our Bible translation software. So
Right.
I'll save this, and we have the ability to retranscribe. And sometimes we may want to do that anyway because we have, as you know, there's a lot of models that come out every day.
Right.
And some of them work better for some languages than others. So we have the ability to try out which models work better for the languages that our translators are working with.
I should say as well, we've done some tests with this on the field and also tried to collect data from our field partners to ask how much time are you actually spending writing things out by hand.
Right.
And time can vary pretty radically depending on the amount of education somebody might have or experience, but it could be several hours just sitting there writing out handwritten pages.
That's right.
We could save them hours and hours at a time with this tool.
Yeah, what we discovered is a lot of translation happens, let's say during a translation event, everybody works diligently on their, on their pad and paper, and they check it and all that stuff. And then at the end of the event, all those pages will be taken by a team of technicians or typists. They'll be taken away from the people who did the translation, and they'll go in and they'll start keying them into BTT Writer. And what happens is then they're facing the challenge of reading the handwriting and trying to decipher what's there. They don't necessarily have access to the person who originally wrote it to say, hey, can you compare these two things together? Because it's happening a few days or a week or even sometimes a month later. So our hope with this tool is actually to shorten the work cycle down so that as pages are being completed during an event, they can even just get transcribed right then, entered, printed out, and then handed back to the translator and say, here's the page you gave me, here's how I typed it up. Can you just verify that this is what you meant to have? So we can immediately capture that stuff, get it digitized, uploaded to our content servers in that digitized form, not just the image, and really shorten that cycle and give the translators a chance to give feedback on that.
In all our interviews with the field, this was the one thing everyone was asking us if we could help them with to accelerate the process of Bible translation. So the rubber hits the road, and it's incredibly practical as a way to implement AI on the field.
Yeah, I was so stunned a year ago to learn how much Bible translation is done on pen and paper or pencil and paper and not done by somebody sitting in front of a keyboard. And the reality is that many people around the world who are doing Bible translation, they don't type. They don't type. They're not really comfortable using technology. Now, they love the Lord and they understand His Word and they're great at translating, but they're just not typists. So the comfort level is to work on paper. That's how they do their normal business. So we want to meet them in that space.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Yep. So we do have some mistakes here, and we do find that every now and then these models can have some issues, which is why we also have the ability here to make some updates. And when we make updates here, it's also saving our progress up in the cloud as well.
Right.
So we can go ahead and format this.
Yeah, I see that it's got too many markers per verse. The interesting thing about AI models is you give them instructions in plain English or whatever language you're using. It's not programming per se, and so they often follow the instructions really well, but sometimes they don't. And so so there is kind of this give and take. We know this transcription is not going to be 100%.
Right.
But if it's 80 or 90% and it just requires correction, you may be able to knock out a page every minute or two as opposed to typing. And I thought to myself, well, how long does it take to type up one page of handwritten text? Does that take 3 or 4 minutes? And then I realized, no. Sometimes it's taking our transcription teams 30 or 40 minutes to type up a page of text.
Yeah.
And that's a long time. And so if you can get it down to a few minutes of corrections, it's way better.
Yeah, it's a good point. Correcting these mistakes takes less than 10% of the amount of time as it does to actually go through and write it out by hand, and still probably make mistakes when you're writing it out by hand. So
yeah, and then we do also have, to make it easier to look at the page here, transcribe on the right, we do have the ability to zoom in, so it can make it easier to read. And be able to focus on making sure that the content that we kind of finalize is accurate, is correct. So
yeah, so I think that's about it. Was there anything else we wanted to show?
think that's it.
Okay. One thing Joe didn't show is that it's currently set up to use 2 different models. It can use OpenAI or Pixtral. And we have found sometimes one or the other is grouchy and doesn't feel like working today, or it just doesn't know what to do with a given language, so we switch to the other one, and sometimes it works. So again, if you get invited into helping us test this, we'll also show you how to work through some of those options if something isn't quite working right. This is very much a prototype, but we're really, really excited about it, and we think it's going to be a huge improvement for the field. So if you are interested in it, please reach out to us through your normal channels on Teams and whatnot. We would be very happy to get you set up to start testing it on the field and helping us gather data on how it's going. Thanks again for joining me in the studio today, guys. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us. We look forward to seeing you next time.